back to another segment we call Real Talk with Robin. Robin Gwaltney is from the Gwaltney Group, a local trustworthy real estate team. And as you know, this segment is all about topics, issues, information local homeowners and buyers sellers need to know. Thank you again, Robin, for coming in on this Thursday. We are talking about the rainy season in real estate, and we've had a lot of severe weather recently.
I'm so glad we had such a beautiful day last week when we went and did our on-site live tour.
That was a perfect day.
Yes,
perfect
that
day.
was great.
Yes, but since then we've had some
Rain.
nasty rain. So tell me how that can affect real estate.
Well, obviously, one of the scariest things to a homeowner is water in the basement.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I mean, it's just a big problem, and it can be a minor issue or a major issue. And if it's a minor issue, it can just be more of a headache. If it's a major issue, it can be a big expense.
Right. So how do we avoid that water damage?
Well, that's a good question. Sometimes it is 100% avoidable. Sometimes it's as easy as the landscaping around your house, right? So when you buy a house, and your realtor should help you with this, when you walk around, you should notice that the grade of like the dirt or the gravel or landscaping is going away from the house. So that if there's rain coming down, it's going to go away and not in.
We don't want rain inside.
We don't want it inside. And we'll talk about what we can do to get rid of it if you have it.
Okay.
But to keep it out is the best way to do it, right?
Yes.
So there's some other simple things like gutters.
Gutters. Let's talk.
Gutters are big because when the rain comes off the roof, if it goes into the gutter and then down a tube and away from the house where it's supposed to be, that's going to be a whole lot better than if you don't have gutters. The rain will come off the roof and just come straight down. And if it comes straight down, it's just going to pelt and pelt through the ground until it tries to work its way in. And even if you have gutters, sometimes people will have like that downspout, you know, that goes away. You've seen them?
I've seen them.
And sometimes they're hinged so you can flip them up. That's the best kind. Sometimes they just pull out. Well, oftentimes people will have like a lawn service do their lawn mowing, or even they'll do their own, and they'll pull that thing out to mow around it, and they'll forget to put it back in.
Yeah,
and that can be a problem, because if the rain's coming fast and furious, it'll still fall over the top of the gutters, you know, if it can't drain out away from it.
Yeah, so I've heard of gutter cleaning, right? That's important too.
Oh yes, good point, Liv, good point. Because if your gutters get full of all these things that fly off the trees, the pine needles, those little helicopter things, you know.
I only know, I think they're helicopters.
Yeah, that's what they call them, but they're little seeds of some sort. Anyway, they fill up your gutters, and if your gutters are filled up with debris, then there's no room for the water. Or if they're plugged and the water can't go down, then that's a problem. So yeah, those are really like easy home maintenance things. And if I sell you a house and there are no gutters, I'm going to say, you know what? I suggest that you get a bid for gutters. Just to see how much it's going to cost. It's not as expensive as you might think.
Okay, that's good.
You know, they charge per linear foot, and depending on what kind of gutters, what size of gutters, what material, it's between like $5 and $10 a linear foot. So an average house, it's going to be between like $2,200 and $6,000.
Okay.
But if you have to pay, you know, whatever it is, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 one time to put gutters on your house instead of facing the consequences of getting
flooded basement, that's going to be way more money.
Yep.
Yes, so it's worth it. And I can imagine that we have other kind of severe weather, except for rain. We have hail.
Yes.
And that's kind of a big pain, huh?
We've had hail lately a couple times.
I know. It's weird.
And so I will tell you, I've had a couple of my sellers call me and say, Robin, I just had a strange man. Well, not necessarily strange, but strange to me.
Showed up to my house,
Yeah, knocked on the door and said, oh, ma'am, we just had a hailstorm in the area. Can I get up on your roof and look at your roof? And she called me and she's like, is this legit?
Do I trust him?
Right,
Yeah.
and it is. You know, I mean, I guess we call them storm chasers, but they're roofers. They're legitimate, licensed roofing companies that go and make business for themselves.
Yes.
You know, they know that hail came through, so they get there, Johnny on the spot, and they're willing to go up on the roof and investigate it. And if they find hail damage, they'll come back downstairs and knock on the front door again, and they'll say, well, Olivia, your whole roof is full of hail damage. So then they will offer to be like the intermediate between you and the insurance company.
Okay.
And so when the insurance company sends out the adjuster, they're willing to meet the adjuster and show the adjuster the damage and try to kind of go to bat for you, because it's not as easy these days to get the insurance company to want to pay for a claim on your roof as it once was.
Okay.
So sometimes if you've got somebody that's an expert in the business and they are willing to be there and help you with meeting the insurance company, might be a good thing.
Might be a good thing. And I know there's also different types of roofs. We talked a little bit about steel roofing. Do you see more damage in those? Is that something maybe to invest in?
Well, so you would wonder, like, these asphalt shingles seem to get damaged, like with between hail and wind and rain, snow, ice, all the things. And it seems like, and roofs are expensive. I mean, I did some homework just to kind of look and see what the average price was. And nationally, they said between $8,800 and $10,000. But in Rochester, the average roof replacement for asphalt shingles was $16,777, something like that. So it's because we have a lot more big houses, bigger roofs. I recently had a client that had to get a roof replaced. His was $26,000. Oh, it was a big house, though. Big house. So they're not cheap, and so you think, well, get steel, because then you don't have to worry about the hail damage. And so that costs approximately 2.5 times more initially. So, I mean, it's like putting on 2.5 roofs. Right?
Sure. So, do you think that'll make up for it long term?
So if you're planning on staying in the house a long time, because the average lifespan of that steel roof is like between 40 and 70 years.
Wow.
Versus like 15 and 30 or 15 and 25.
Okay.
So it's going to last a lot longer. But the average person stays in their house 7 years. And when they buy it, they're even thinking, well, I'll maybe be here 10 years. So they're not the one that's going to benefit from it.
Okay, so that makes sense.
So that's kind of why. It's just about the cost. And then also, if you have a tin roof, you have a steel roof. My parents actually had one on their house. And if you're there when it's raining, or it's like noisy up there. Yeah, but you can insulate so that it quiets it down. So it costs more to put it on. It'll last, it costs 2.5 times more to put it on. It'll last 2.5 times as long.
But it's about making it work for you and your future and your path and your timeline,
and if you get a hailstorm, you could get little dings, or if a branch falls on it. So then again, you'd probably be dealing with your insurance company.
So we need to get in contact with you for all of our real estate questions, whether it's rainy day or just a sunny day. You have all the ansers. How do we get in contact?
I have all the answers. Remember that. All the answers.
All of them. What's your phone number, Robin?
507-259-4926. Feel free to call me anytime.
Yeah, and that website's there too for you guys is useful. Thank you so much, Robin, for coming in on a Thursday. Can't wait to have you back next Thursday.
Always a pleasure.
We'll be back with more Midwest Access right after this.